If you have TikTok and you like basketball, you probably know Showtime Hoops.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J Dub. Let's get to it. You know, I understand that throughout the course of a player's career, there are different phases. When you first come into the league, you want to prove that you can stick. That's why you see guys putting up the numbers that they put up early. That's why you see guys being a little bit more selfish early because I want to show that I belong. Then as time goes on, they start to realize that, okay, I've done 3, 4 years, 5 years, I've done that, and I've led the league in scoring, or I've led the league in rebounding, and I've made the all-star team, and I've been an all-pro. Now I have to win. And what do I have to do to win? Well, now I have to be more selfless. I got to become more selfless, and I got to start thinking about what I can do to help this team win because I'm already established at that point. And then when teams have done what they need to do in order to put you in the opportunity to win, now it's up to the player. Don't get me wrong, winning is not just being good enough. You need some things to go your way. So now here we have Giannis. Giannis showed up to the Milwaukee Bucks. None of us knew who he was. He shows up to the Milwaukee Bucks, a middle first round pick. He becomes a star. In the process of him becoming a star, they built that Milwaukee Bucks unit organically through the draft with Middleton. They ended up trading for Brook Lopez. Him and Middleton have been together for 8 years. So then they trade for Drew Holiday, and he was the missing piece. They move off of Bledsoe, trade for Holiday. He's the missing piece, and they end up winning the NBA championship. So now this is what my career is going to be about because I've been an all-pro. I've been the league MVP in back-to-back seasons. I've been the defensive player of the year. So all of those boxes have been checked. Now this is about me continuously playing at a championship level. And in order for me to do that, I need the help of the organization. So last summer, Giannis says that I'm not signing an extension because I need to make sure that I am put in a position every year to compete for an NBA championship. And what do the Milwaukee Bucks do? The Milwaukee Bucks move off of Drew Holiday. They move off of Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard. With moving off of Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard, which I wasn't totally sure on the move, but they move off of Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard, and they're essentially telling Giannis, okay, we're serious about making moves around here. Which in turn, Giannis signs the extension. So I looked at this as a 3-year window. And that started last year. We're in year 2, right? We're in year 2 of this. They still haven't addressed the major need for the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, Middleton has been in and out of the lineup. He's getting long in the tooth. His injuries have been mounting, and they've been mounting since they won the NBA championship in 21. So this has been a 3-year ordeal with Middleton, whom they're still on, but he gets busy in the playoffs. We saw him get busy in the playoffs last year. Only problem is he hasn't been able to hold up. So then you have Brook Lopez, because I feel like this is their major problem. Their major problem is at the 5 spot. They're long in the tooth at the 5 spot with Brook Lopez, and they don't have anybody younger behind him to supplement that. In addition to not having wing defenders, which, just for the record, Milwaukee, your starting small forward, he's in Phoenix. His name's Ryan Dunn. That's your starting small forward. And I understand that nobody expected him to shoot 40% on the long ball coming into the NBA, considering what he had done in college. Because, he wasn't much of a shooter in college. And I didn't expect him to come into the NBA and be that much of a shooter. What I did expect him to do, which is what he's doing in Phoenix, is to be one of the better young defenders in the game. 100% I did expect that, which is what you needed. And you didn't supplement that because Damian Lillard is deficient as a defender. And in order to be a championship level team, in order to be a championship team, not a championship level team, but in order to be a championship team, you got to guard. You have to guard. And I'm not saying that you have to be Drew Holiday, but you need people to protect your guys who are deficient. Prime example would be in 22 with the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry isn't much of a defender, but he will compete on the defensive end. But then you have Draymond, and then you have Wiggins, Andrew Wiggins, to protect him. Well, you got Giannis. Giannis isn't on the perimeter, though. Who's on the perimeter to protect Damian Lillard? Because I can tell you who it's not. It's not Gary Trent. It's not Taurean Prince. If I look at the Milwaukee Bucks, they're one of the worst long ball. They're one of the worst teams in the league guarding at the long ball line. One of the worst. So Giannis is asking to see if these guys are serious. Well, they signed Damian Lillard, and they show that they are serious about making moves. And then we go the other way. And his team shouldn't be this bad, especially considering Giannis is having another MVP season. And Damian Lillard has been awesome offensively. I already know who he is as a defender. He's been deficient. He looks like he's competing more on the defensive end. He's fighting around screens. He's closing out better. However, is that going to be enough in order for them to win? No, it's not, off the strength that they don't have anybody to protect Damian Lillard. So now there's grumblings about Giannis's preferred destinations, which is what I have a problem with, because I'm not a big fan of this speculation thing. I saw Giannis, again, in the summer of 23. I saw Giannis in the summer of 23 say he wasn't signing an extension. And rightfully so. If Giannis wanted out, Giannis would say he wants out. Giannis doesn't strike me as a guy who's going to continuously listen to rumors. Same thing happened last year with Donovan Mitchell. Where's Donovan Mitchell going? Donovan Mitchell never asked out of Cleveland. In fact, not only did he not ask out of Cleveland, he signed an extension, and that was largely due to the friction between him and J.B. Bickerstaff, and J.B. Bickerstaff being gone. Even though I think J.B. Bickerstaff is a damn good coach, I think the friction between him and J.B. Bickerstaff being gone, I think that propelled Donovan Mitchell to sign a contract extension. But all the speculation of where he's going to go, he never said he wanted out. Never said he wanted out at all. Giannis has not said he wants out. And until I hear Giannis say he wants out, I'm not listening to any of this. Well, his preferred destination is Brooklyn. His preferred destination is Miami. Is it really? So if I don't think that you wake up and just decide that I want to play in Brooklyn. I don't think that you just wake up and decide that I want to play in Miami. This is something that's been brewing for quite some time. And if that's true, what is he still doing in Milwaukee? Why is he still in Milwaukee? If this is something that's already been on his mind, why not just put it out there? And you know what? This just isn't working in Milwaukee. You guys aren't serious. I thought you guys were, but you're not. Why didn't he ask out already? The reason why he didn't ask out already is because he's not interested in that. I think we're in year 2 of this championship. I think we're in year 2 of this 3-year championship window. When you got a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is arguably the best player in the league. There's some people who think Giannis is the best player in the league. I personally think it's Joker, but there are some people who think that Giannis is the best player in the league. When you have a guy that's that good, you have to give them a chance, and you have to give him a chance. And as of right now, this thing just isn't working. Again, they're one of the worst. They're one of the worst teams in the league guarding the long ball line. Their perimeter defense is not very good. They're long in the tooth at the 5 spot. They don't have a backup. They got one of the best, if not the best transition player in the game in Giannis, yet they're at the bottom of the league in transition points. This team, there are things that have to change, and that's coaching. And Doc Rivers 100% has some work to do. He 100% has some work to do. And until they figure this thing out, it's going to be slow going for them. But I think that they're going to figure it out. Speaking of figuring something out, I'm trying to figure out how the Dallas Mavericks are winning games. I was trying to figure out, because I look at the landscape of the Mavericks, right? I look at the landscape of the Dallas Mavericks and I'm thinking to myself, how are these guys winning games? Right? They They got an average offense. They play with one of the 5 slowest paces in the league. Luka is shooting again under 40% from the floor. He's shooting under 30% on the long ball. His shot selection has been iffy. How are these guys winning games? Well, one of the main reasons why they're winning games is because they're in the top 5 in the league in defense. Their defense has been their calling card. They're number 1 in the league in steals, which now in turn turns into offense, transition offense in particular, which is why they're one of the better transition offensive teams in the game. Najee Marshall, I thought he'd be more of a 3 guy, because I already knew he was a D and 3 guy, but I thought he'd be more of a 3 guy, and it's just not working how I thought it would. But it's still early, and we're only 6 games into the season. The season started 2 weeks ago tomorrow, 2 weeks ago. So I still think that it's early, and I think that there's some time that they still have in order for them to turn their offense around. And I think Luka will turn his offense around. I do. Luka's shot selection has always been what it is. I think he's the best scorer in the game. I don't think that there's a guy who scores easier than Luka. Luka's ability to get downhill, Luka's ability to finish at the rim. I don't think that there's a guy who does that easier than Luka. That's why I think he's the best scorer in the game. With that being said, he hasn't been able to get to what he's been able to get to on a consistent basis. He hasn't been able to get to that. And because he hasn't been able to get to that, his shot selection has been tricky. So because his shot selection has been tricky, that would explain why he's been as inefficient as he's been. So I think he's going to turn this around. Kyrie Irving has been fantastic. I think Kyrie Irving is 49, 59, 85. And when you're shooting those kind of splits, you're going to do well. You're 100% going to do well. Klay Thompson, 85% of the shots that he's gotten have been open. That's impressive. But it goes back to what I just said about them. It goes back to what I just said about them not being able to shoot the long ball as well. Klay Thompson is shooting under 40% at the long ball line. Not well under 40%, but under 40% at the long ball line, which has been his calling card. He's been okay on defense, but the bright spots for them, Kyrie Irving offensively, defensively, Gafford at the rim, Lively at the rim, Marshall on the perimeter. We've gotten some really productive minutes out of these guys, and I like what I'm seeing from them. So I had to ask myself, why are they winning games? Now it makes sense why they're winning games. So in closing, I have to say, in order for me to buy the hype, Giannis has to tell me he wants out. I got to hear it from him. Just like I heard it from Kevin Durant. Just like I heard it from Kyrie Irving. Just like I heard it from Kobe Bryant. I got to hear it from Giannis that he wants out and this thing just isn't working in Milwaukee. I got to hear it from him. Until then, it's just speculation more than anything. Until then, it is just speculation more than anything, and it is rumors, which, rumors sometimes generate into something else. I won't argue that. Rumors definitely turn into something else. I won't argue that. However, in this particular situation with Giannis, yes, he's got to tell me that he wants out. He has to. Otherwise, it's going in one ear and out the other, and I'm not buying any bit of it. The Milwaukee Bucks have shown that they are willing to make moves. I think that's the most important part. The right move, okay, we can work on that. But the fact that they've shown that they're willing to make moves, I think that's the step in the direction we need. I think that's the direction we need. I think that's the step in the direction that we need to take. Once a team shows that they're willing to make moves, I think once a team has shown that they're willing to do something, I have to stay on board with them. So again, until Giannis tells me that he wants out, I'm not trying to hear it. So that's it, guys. It was good to see you this morning. I will see you guys soon. But until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? I will talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light. Take it.